very special student. When I first met her, man, she was so tiny, and then all of a sudden, like, she opened her mouth, and just the room lit up. And her presentation is just that, and I love hearing it over and over. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's Lekha Sunder.
All right, cool. Hi guys, I'm Lekha Sunder, and today I'll be talking about worrying about the people you love. So the problem with being a first-generation Indian is that I rarely get to see my extended family. It's been more than 3 years since I last saw my grandma, and this affects me a lot because growing up in this country, a lot of people have easy access to their grandparents. Most people don't have their relatives that live 9,439 miles away. Now, it is tough for me to be away from my grandma because I love her and I miss her, but it isn't like I'm completely grandma-less. This is my grandma Ba. She isn't my real grandma, she's my nanny, but she's also a whole lot more than that. She's my role model, my partner in crime, and one of the very few people that actually get me. We share the same birthday, we have been roommates for over 10 years, and her name was the first word to ever come out of my mouth. It's hard for a lot of people to grasp onto the concept of a non-biological grandma, but I refuse to refer to Ba as anything less than that. She isn't a nanny or a babysitter, she is so much more. Ba has been with us for over 17 years, ever since my mom placed an ad in the newspaper for someone to watch my older sister. She witnessed both my birth and my little sister's birth, and even today, at the bright age of 80, she is still my nanny. She taught me the Indian language of Gujarati and has introduced me to a variety of different foods and cultures that I would otherwise be unaware of. But it hasn't been a completely smooth journey. About a year and a half ago, Ba had a stroke, and it was arguably one of the saddest moments of my life. All I could do was cry and assume the worst of the situation, and quite literally I was thrown into a period of desperation where all I could do was question myself. Because losing Ba or seeing her grow through pain didn't just make me feel sad, it made me feel empty. And as cheesy as this sounds, as cheesy as this whole talk sounds really, it is true, and there are people in all of your lives who not only make you happy, but complete you. People who make you happy even on the saddest of days and the coldest of days. So to see Ba go through something like this was obviously extremely depressing for me, but also an eye-opening experience. It taught me to respect and love the life I have and also the lives of the other people I love. And because of Ba's stroke, I not only look at the world in terms of tomorrow, but more importantly, look at the world in terms of today. You see, before Ba's stroke, I looked at her life as if she was walking on eggshells. Every time she coughed or stumbled, I would get extremely tense and anxious. I even one time timed how long it took her to climb up the stairs because I really didn't like the idea of her getting old. I didn't like the idea of anyone getting old, but it was the simple fact that Ba was actually old. I was petrified that one day she wouldn't be there for me. And because of this, it led me to be over-analytical about Ba's health and over-absorbed in Ba's health, and I became impractical. Looking back at how absorbed in Ba's health I was, I realized how much vulnerability we show when we think the people we love are going to leave us. And oftentimes we are oblivious to the vulnerability that we show because it's an inevitable side effect of love, worrying. And because I was 12, I was external about the way I worried. I did cry and I did whine because what else am I supposed to do? And the ways that you show that you're vulnerable and the ways that you show you're worried are obviously different from mine. We may not realize it, but it's simple acts like bringing a bowl of soup to your friend at the hospital, watching their dog while they're sick. That's being worried and that's being vulnerable. It's your longing for normality. It's wanting to do whatever you can to make them feel better. So obviously, as Ba went through this, I was extremely sad. But I also learned that worrying isn't always a good thing. In fact, it can be extremely damaging. Now, we oftentimes focus so much on the clock ticking down minute after minute that we forget to enjoy the time itself. So what inhibits us to only focus on the pain and damage of other people instead of focusing and cherishing the moments that we have with them? Why do we only focus on the negativity instead of using our last days with the people we love positively? On the way back from the hospital, I clearly remember my mom saying that we probably wouldn't get Ba back as a nanny. Every reason why she couldn't come back was like a dagger to the heart. And as depressing as this was for me, I also was extremely happy and extremely admiring of how my mom reacted to this situation. She wasn't worried about Ba, even though I knew the situation was equally as difficult for her. And because of this, she was the slap of reality that I didn't want, but that I greatly needed. Unfortunately, this slap of reality was wrong. Over a span of just months, with the help of physical therapy and moral support, Ba became healthier than ever, and she did become our nanny again. But my ways of dealing with her and coping with her were changed forever, and changed drastically. I was exhausted in a sense from worrying so much that I didn't let it get to me anymore. I'm not gonna lie, I still worry about Ba constantly, but I don't let the worrying get to me. You see, we will never stop worrying about the people we love for as long as we live. It's an inevitable side effect of love. But if we let this worrying decapitate us, if we let it control us, then we aren't going to be able to use our last days and our last years with the people we love positively. So Ba really only speaks Gujarati, and one of her favorite things to say to us when we're annoying her is "Tum maru loy piye che," which literally translates to "you are drinking my blood." Now, I've learned recently that worrying about the people you love greatly resembles drinking not only your blood, but the blood of the people you love. The Greek philosopher Epictetus once said that the only way to happiness is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. Now, unfortunately, the pain of others is out of our will, and if we dwell so much in the sad situation, and if we overanalyze their health, we are only doing damage. Sure, we do it out of sheer love and affection, but we also lose sight of how they feel. When the people we love experience pain and aging, all they really want is our happiness. Your happiness makes their pain go away. And that's what true love actually is. But we are so encapsulated in our fears and worries that we forget to use our last days with them positively. We forget to actually consider how our loved ones feel. And because of this, we aren't consoling and we aren't there for them 100%, which is what being there for a loved one is actually about. So this traumatic experience didn't completely liberate me from worrying at all, but it did warn me. This experience didn't tell me anything but that the last stage of life is still a stage of life, and I should treat it all the same. So if any of you are going through a difficult time and you are experiencing a lot of worry in your life, my advice to you is don't be. It doesn't require a checklist because this is an internal problem. The only solution to not excessively worrying is to reassure yourself that it's going to be okay, and more importantly, believing in yourself. Only you can stop yourself from worrying, and only you can appreciate the life that you have and the people that you have. So yeah, only you can actually understand the life that you have and respect it. Because after all, if you give thanks for the days you have, you won't spend your time slaving away and wishing for more. Thank you.